If you've ever tried to improvise and thought, why do my solos sound like random notes? Or I know my scales, but I still don't sound like jazz? The answer might not be learning more scales, and the answer might be understanding chordal tones just a little bit better and how to use them in improvisation. The good news is that if you're a classical musician, you'll already have a huge advantage here because you've spent years training your ears to hear harmony. Today, we're going to break down what chordal tones are, why they matter, and how they can immediately make your improvisation sound more musical. Welcome to the Jazz Improv Institute. My name is Shannon Gunn, and I like to help classical musicians learn how to play jazz. If this video is helpful, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so that you can see when I post a new video. Now, one of the biggest shifts when moving from classical music into jazz, in classical music, we often think about the notes on the page. In jazz, we start thinking about the relationship between the notes and the harmony underneath, and we start hearing them. And chordal tones are the bridge between those two worlds. For example, in jazz, when we hear a melody, we're probably going to be listening and thinking in our head, that was on the ninth, or that is the third. So it's just as much about ear training, which you've already probably had if you're classically trained. So what are the chordal tones? A chordal tone is simply a note within the chord. So for example, let's take a C major 7. The notes in that chord are C, E, G, and B natural. The 1, the 3, the 5, and the 7 of the C major scale. That's how we know what notes are in the chord. Now let's compare that sound to a scale that would work with that, such as F Lydian. Now, that might not sound good because the chordal tones of the C major 7 are not emphasized. So one of the biggest things that you have to learn is how to sort of take what you know as far as the scales and then emphasize or sort of land or resolve to chordal tones. And this is a process that takes time. So for example, let's say you're just using the C major scale over C major. When you're playing that, you want to emphasize the chordal tones. But it sounds really square if you play those on the downbeats. So you could start on an offbeat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. That would swing. Or you could add a note to the scale, like the bebop scale. And that would give you some ideas on how to make that major scale fit with emphasis on the downbeats on the chordal tones. I like to think of chordal tones as your musical GPS. So imagine you're driving through a city and a scale gives you all the roads you could possibly take, but a chord tells you what is the best route for where we're going at this point in time. Here's where you are, and here's where you want to go. So the chordal tones keep you connected to the harmony. For example, let's take a simple 2-5-1 progression. In the key of C, you would have a D minor 7 to a G7, and that would often resolve or at least move in the direction of C major 7. D minor, G7, C7. The notes in the chords are D minor, D, F, A, C, to G7, G, B, D, F, to C major 7, C, E, G, B. So those are all the chordal tones. Now, I want you to notice there are common tones between those chords. So for example, the F stays in D minor and is also played in the G7. That's the 7th. So the D also connects those two chords. So then we resolve to C major. So that movement, the fact that there's common tones, is something that jazz musicians are trained to figure out very quickly. So anytime you have a 2-5, two of the notes are the same between both of those particular chords. And that is something that jazz musicians can kind of play off of if they're sort of like wanting to do some repeated notes. So here's a simple exercise. Don't worry about playing fancy lines. Just do this. Step 1, play only the roots. So for example, if you're doing a song and it has a D minor 7 to a G7 to a C7, you're just going to play D to G to C. Then I want you to sing it. 2, 5, 1. Or you could say the letters D, G, C. And it's helpful though to say the numbers. And then I want you to do that for the whole song. Just play through the roots and then be able to sing through the roots in time for the whole song. Then I want you to add the thirds. Like that was day 1. Day 2, add the thirds. D, F. So you're going to hear the quality of each chord when you do that, and you want to be able to sing it D, F, G, B, C, E in time. And then you're going to want to hear that throughout the whole song. So you can really determine from listening and from internalizing the first and third, whether each chord is minor or major, or of the minor or major family. So now here's the exciting part for classical musicians. You've already spent years doing something very similar. When you play Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, or Brahms, you are constantly navigating harmony. You just have to see it written out. So in jazz, we ask you to do the same thing, but in real time. Instead of seeing, here are the notes that the composer wants, you want to start thinking, what notes will make this harmony clear in jazz? And a lot of times, especially when you're starting out, you want to emphasize the thirds and the sevenths. And that is the improvisation process of using chordal tones. Here is your challenge for today. So take a simple chord progression, such as the blues, or a 1-6-2-5, like C major 7, A minor 7, 2 is D minor 7 to G7. Don't improvise a melody yet, just play the chordal tones. Start with the roots. Then play the chordal tones within each chord, like arpeggio, C. And then you're going to play the thirds of each. And then you're going to improvise utilizing those with a backing track. So sort of like either create your own backing track or you can use one of our 2 chord flows and just kind of go through the process of internalizing the chordal tones for that chord progression. So chordal tones are the foundation of jazz improvisation. They help you stop sounding random. They help you hear the harmony, create stronger melodies, and connect your ideas to the music. If you are a classical musician who wants to start improvising, this is one of the first concepts that you could master. So I've put together some more resources for classical musicians who want to learn jazz. You can find a free 7-day course up on my website, and I'll put the link down below. It's called 7 Days Classical to Jazz, and sign up for one of my workshops. And if you've enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe, the like button, and the bell to get alerts for whenever we put out a new video. Thank you so much for listening, and happy practicing.